It has arrived, yes. I know we've been talking about it for months, but thankfully we have made it safely to week one, and we can't thank all of you enough for being here on a Monday afternoon. Why waste a minute saying anything more? Let's get to some headlines for the first big weekend of college football. Well, there was a week. We've already seen a little bit of football. It was a pretty dramatic ending in Dublin, week 0. The post-game brawl is what people are talking about now, and that's only the father and brother of Avery Johnson, the QB from Kansas State. They're apologizing. It's always smart to apologize when you create a ruckus that embarrasses your family members and the school. So we'll move on from that. Andrew Luck is back in college football. Remember, he's the GM, and Frank Reich doing what he does best, lose. He was the former head coach of the Panthers. Before that, he was fired at the Indianapolis Colts, and he continues, losing on a walk-off field goal. What could be more appropriate for Stanford from the ACC? And Jordan Hudson celebrating Bill Belichick's Hulu deal with a sassy post, just when we've actually started to pay attention to Belichick, the football coach. Jordan is back in the news. That game, the opener, is a week from tonight. So we'll talk more about that with a PR consultant. Money, have you heard that one before? Have you heard that college football is more about money than anything? Well, not here. We love the games, but there is some money aspect. Scott Docterman from The Athletic writing about that today. And Brian Kelly is back. He reveals how much LSU football spent this year in the offseason. And if you're an LSU fan, let's hope it was enough, because they have as difficult an opener as anyone in the country. And we will talk to Brian Kelly coming up in just a few minutes right here. Mark Stoops has ended the speculation, and Zach Calzada, by the way, I should know his name by now. He's been around the league a while. He was at Texas A&M a couple of years ago. Well, he is the starting QB, and hopefully that is good news for the embattled Wildcats. Missouri is going to try both quarterbacks Thursday night in the opener. Remember when we talked to Drink about a week and a half ago, he said that was issue number one. It remains issue number one. Good luck, Drink. Meanwhile, the Longhorns will win it all, according to the guy who has covered the Longhorns longer than anybody. Kirk Bowles, who has covered the Horns for more than 50 years, predicts what many other people have predicted as well. And we'll talk to him a little bit later on. They have Ohio State on Saturday, as everyone in America knows. Steve Sarkisian.
Steve, your team has had great success the last 2 years, but some problems in the red zone. How'd you go about fixing that, and what's your level of confidence you'll be better at that?
You guys want a really cool stat? So 2 years ago, we were just over 50% touchdowns in the red area. Last year, we were 64% touchdowns in the red area. So we did make some improvements. We just need to continue to improve.
And there is Peter Burns, who you have been seeing all day as the new show, Open Mic, has been on board. And Peter, you've been talking for a couple of hours. Continue on. Let's talk about Sark to start it out. What did you hear from him?
Paul, it's interesting because we could have had a bingo card here on SEC Now Open Mic for the first show, which was, hey, every team, they're happy about the opportunity to get on the field. They're excited about their chances. They like all their players. And, of course, they respect the other head coach that they're going to be facing. But I think Sark was probably the most interesting. And my biggest takeaway on that, Paul, was the fact that he had said, listen, he kind of tiptoed into the idea of, hey, do you rather play an Ohio State in Columbus right from the jump, or would you rather play, quote unquote, a kind of a cupcake, a get-right game? And he said that he would have concerns, Paul, if Ohio State had already had a game underneath their belt, but he says, listen, we're going to be in the same boat as them, and they've been prepared for it. And I think the one thing that you know for over the years is that Sark is probably as transparent as any coach that we have here in this conference. And so he was wide open in his interview earlier today. We didn't take away anything big other than the fact that they're excited to play that game.
We'll talk to Brian Kelly a little bit later, so we'll save that for just a second, Peter. But I know you heard a lot there. Let me jump ahead to a Friday night game because, I mean, we tend to hype things a little bit in this business, but I don't think you can hype the importance of how big this game is to Hugh Freeze, Auburn at Baylor.
The idea that even from the ESPN, bet in the sportsbook has gone back and forth from Auburn being a favorite to Baylor being a favorite, that it was a pick 'em, and now Auburn has gotten better somehow over the last couple of weeks, according to the odds makers. But I think, Paul, you take many calls about this all the time. Hugh Freeze probably has as much pressure right from the jump, not just from game one, but probably the first half of football. I mean, how much did we hear coming out of really kind of spring football, even the famous quote that he had over at Media Days saying, I want to make sure my defensive coordinators know that my quarterback ends on a good note. Right? And he wants that amount of success and kind of the confidence coming out from Jackson Arnold. I remember sitting with Jackson Arnold over at SEC Media Days, and you could tell that he was perturbed with the way that things went down over at Oklahoma. Now, albeit obviously they had the issues over at offensive line. They had the issues with, 17 wide receivers going down. But I feel like you're going to know exactly what's going to happen with Auburn football within the first 20 minutes of football coming up. Against a pretty talented defensive-minded head coach in Dave Aranda.
Talking to Peter Burns here, who's been hosting Open Mic all afternoon. Let's talk about another really big game. Where it looks like a big game, Peter. I don't know what's going to happen here, but Alabama's a heavy favorite going to Tallahassee. This should be Titanic. It doesn't feel that big. What did you hear today?
I mean, I heard from Kalen DeBoer, and actually before we heard that is something that we've seen from DeBoer over the last couple of years that we did not get under the Saban regime down in T-Town, Paul, was the idea that his offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators can speak. And I think the fact that you hear more from Ryan Grubb just gives you the amount of confidence that Alabama fans should have that it's Grubb and Kalen DeBoer. Remember, that was going to be the package deal down in T-Town until the NFL came calling over in Seattle for Ryan Grubb. So the fact that Grubb has, or I should say DeBoer has this guy, you got to be excited about it. But I'm fascinated by this whole FSU thing and the fact that you're on the cusp of Jordan Travis not getting injured 2 years prior. You're in the college football playoff. You have a disastrous, absolutely abysmal 2024, and I'm not sure if it got any better out in Tallahassee. I mean, they just had one of their players suspended for fighting a coach. We've heard a lot of grumblings down there about Gus Malzahn coming in the offense and how that's going to look like. So I know everybody wants to talk about Brian Kelly having a lot of pressure, but Paul, could you argue outside of Hugh Freeze and that opener against Baylor, Kalen DeBoer has to win this game? I mean, you might have to go 6 hours deep if they somehow lost this game over in Tallahassee and create like a 1-900 crisis helpline over there.
And we will. Before we go, we'll hear from Brian Kelly in a few minutes, but you not only are from there, you're tied in to that Baton Rouge community very tightly. What is the temperature of the LSU fans heading into Clemson this weekend?
Probably like they wish they had Kurt Signetti's scheduling, which was a lot easier than as soon as going out to Clemson for that game. I think there's a lot of wait and see. I mean, for years, I'll tell you this as an LSU fan, when you came up and you were like, all right, we're going to play Washington off the jump, you're going to play Oregon off the jump, you're going to play somebody, that means you're going to be whooping their butt. That has not been the case, going back to even Ed Ogeron back in 2020. So there's cautious optimism, but I think the LSU fans have to see it to believe it. I called Brian Kelly this offseason right before media days, and the first thing he told me, Paul, was, I get it. We got to win the opener. So there's been a different approach down in Baton Rouge about it. And, I mean, I guess maybe I'm always punch drunk on this team, but I think this is going to be the best defense that LSU has had arguably since 2017, 2018. I mean, even the 2019 team that won the national championship, the defense got better as the end of the year went on, but they were just more of a speed bump for that unbelievable historic offense. I think that we'll actually know LSU more for their defense this year than that we will for their offense. And I think the offense is going to be pretty good. Now, I will say this, Paul, I think that's the take, and I want to get your opinion as I leave here. I think LSU beats Clemson, but I still think Cade Klubnik wins the Heisman. I think Clemson's a college football playoff team that actually goes undefeated in the ACC.
Yeah, no, listen, I think Klubnik is very likely to win it. I'm still wrestling with this game. I started out on Clemson, but if you tell me LSU is going to win, I might do a switcheroo here, Peter. You know a lot more about it than I do.
Baker got a year two. I mean, listen, real quick, the best thing that happened, Paul, Bryce Underwood not signing with LSU. They could have spent $8 million, and he's going to be the starter for, well, you know, the asterisk-winning national champion, allegedly, Michigan Wolverines. But at the same point, when they lost Bryce Underwood, Paul, they were able to take all of that NIL money and get a bunch of depth out there at LSU. And frankly, I think that's going to end up being the most important thing to LSU making the college football playoff.
Great stuff, Peter Burns. Thank you very, very much. You can see his show all week long, but especially on Mondays with the press conferences. Why don't we take a break here? More to come. We have your phone calls. We also have Brian Kelly joining us here in just a few minutes, as we will do hopefully every single Monday of the college football season. We'll take a break.
By Regions Bank.
Our guys started our prep last week. Coaches kind of started on Thursday. Players kind of started on Friday, so we've gotten 2 practices in towards that goal of playing these guys. I'm excited for a home opener. You know, we get sometimes the neutral site, sometimes on the road, but this home opener, I know I'm excited. I'm excited about this weather for our fans. Looks like it's going to be a great weather day in terms of not catching some of the August, September heat we get sometimes. A lot of respect for this head coach and his program. When I look at the similarities between, you know, he's been a defensive coordinator for a long time, a very successful one, Coach Tony Gibson. He's also coming kind of home to West Virginia, and he's got a staff that's very passionate about Marshall. You know, when someone is passionate about the place they coach, they're going to do a tremendous job, and his staff reflects that. Marshall's got a tremendous history of a lot of good football players, a lot of good teams. To look and see what they did last year in a really extremely tough Sun Belt conference, it kind of speaks for itself. So our guys are excited to go play. We always say the game's about us, and it'll always be about how we play, and we got to go play our best. So that's the next step for us. I was telling guys just the other day, you know, there's 3 more games before the game, 1 today, 1 tomorrow, and 1 the next day, and those opportunities are really valuable in terms of where guys rep, where guys will play. We've got position battles they don't go on to the game; they go on through the whole year, because I value Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Thursday of practice weeks probably more than some game reps. So we've got a lot of good battles going on, and you know, we have a saying around our place: if you're going to play winning football, we want to play you. So we're looking to have as many guys as possible above that winning threshold line, and that's the goal, to play all those guys. Hitting goals, we have some really lofty goals. You know, we go in and we say, okay, we got about 15, 20 goals up there that we look for, and if we hit those goals, then we usually played well. And if we don't, then we usually didn't. There's run goals involved in that, third down conversion rate, red zone rate, yards per completion rate, turnover rate, penalty rate. There's a lot that goes into that. So I can't simply say just win the game. There's more to it than that. And we'll look at it, and we'll see where we are, and then we'll figure out what we need to work on.
We are jam-packed today. How did you do any better when Brian Kelly joined us on the first Monday of the college football season? Kirk Bowles a little bit later on, the veteran, covered the Longhorns for more than 50 years. Josh Culling, he's a PR expert. We'll talk about what else, but the situation in Chapel Hill And Scott Docterman, a great piece in The Athletic today about how much money college football is suddenly worth. Does that surprise anyone? I don't think so. Let's get to the calls. And we start in Biloxi with Old School. Good afternoon.
Mr. Paul Finebaum, the mouth of the South. How you doing, brother?
Hey, we are doing great. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Paul, I got a little bit to unload here. I'm not happy about a couple things, but it's not you, brother. It's not you. I did find out that we share a mutual friend in Houston. I wouldn't say friend. I know had a lot of respect from John McClain.
Oh my goodness, John's a legend. Yeah, absolutely.
He's a legend out there. I didn't know him personally, but he was always very, very nice to me. And someone told me, I had a couple players call me last night and they said, "Boy, you damn, what's happening?" I said, "Listen, man, it's just a little, it's you know." They said, "Are y'all really the same age?" I said, "Yeah, I'm 45 days older than he is." And they said, "Well, now it makes sense." But anyway, let me do this. Now, I had someone, the secretary. She was saying, I heard her giggling. I said, "What's going on?" She said, "My God," she said, "they got a complete damn meltdown after you call." I said, "What?" She said, "Man, people calling in left and right." She said, "It's like a bunch of damn teenage girls going to a Bieber concert." She said, it's just sickening." She said, I said, "Well, damn," I said, can I just, I'm a very accomplished singer, and I have to sing every word, because I just go a couple verses for all those little Bieber fans out there that lost their stuff. Because here's the deal, boys. Let me just tell you. You probably all watch Animal Planet, right? And when a young silverback comes in the troop, you see the old silverbacks follow. Well, here in this case, a 70-year-old silverback came in, and now all the young silverbacks follow me. Listen, man, don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate me, bro. Don't hate me. I didn't do anything, but I'll tell you what I would do if I was Paul Finebaum. If I was running that, here's what I'd do. I'd fire every damn one of your asses. I'd fire all of them. All you'd be gone, bro. All you would be gone except for Iron Man. Except, let me say something about Legend. I want to buy your life story, bro. Let's make some money. Let's get some. Let's make some bands. And Dwayne and Louisiana, don't think I forgot you, brother. I'm 10 toes down with you anywhere, anytime, right over in Mississippi. And Chris, my man Chris, he gave his telephone number over the open air. A dog, a real man. But Chris, I do have one thing, just for some advice, brother. You don't have to do it, but I would suggest you slow your sentences down where people can understand you, because I can't understand a damn thing you say. It was just damn hard for me to understand anything. Now, can I just a couple bars to all the little dudes out there trying to bang me? Just a couple, Paul. Can I do it?
Yeah, sure.
You like the Beatles, don't you? Don't you like the Beatles?
Sure.
I know you like the Beatles, Paul. All right, here we go, boys. Let's go. This goes out to all those little girls that got so shook up. Let it be, baby. Just let it be. Let it be, man. Let me be me. Here we go with my Elvis glasses on, baby. Coming to you from Biloxi, Mississippi. This is old school logic, old school deck work. Here we go. When
listen, Old School, we do need to thanks for the call. We appreciate it very, very much. Let me get some reaction there by Chris in South Carolina.
Oh, my gosh, Paul. Oh, what have we done? Oh, my gosh. But I'm going to tell you like this, Paul. The only reason I called in this early, because I want my man to tell him that his nightmares will be over in 6 days. He can wake up, and that little Junior Death Valley come in, all them jokes beside.
Hey, hold on a second, Chris. Hold on 1 second. Let me interrupt. He is the next caller if you want to say something to him personally.
You talking about, Dwayne, I'm going to tell you like this, Dwayne. I was talking about your coach, but I'll talk about you, Wayne. We ain't worrying about LSU. You better bring the mind of the Tigers, because we are the Tigers of the Paul Finebaum Show and of the SEC. Have a nice day, Paul.
Thank you very much. Dwayne is up next.
Yeah, you're right, Paul Finebaum, the next caller. You're right behind that crazy old school you had on. That's what we're coming to now, Paul Finebaum. Old school? Man, old school, but he should burn old school up. Old school. Don't get back on the phone no more, old school. Please don't talk about that crazy stuff you talking about just now. Hey, you need to ask Paul Finebaum. Hey, Paul Finebaum, you need to ask Brian Kelly about the offensive line against that front four, against Clemson front four. When you talk to Brian Kelly, ask him about the offensive line, what he going to do against that front four. You hear me?
Okay. I will ask him. He's going to be. I tell you what, Dwayne. Dwayne, I have a better idea. He's going to be here in a couple of minutes. Would you like to interview him?
Man, that'd be awesome, boy. That'd be awesome right there. Not today, Paul. I'm gonna talk to my coach today. But hey, no, if you do it like this, Paul Finebaum. Ask about the defense. The defense gonna be the LSU defense gonna be rocking. Hey, Peter Byrne told you right. Peter Byrne told you that defense gonna be on fire. I told you that already. But ask him about the offensive line.
Okay, so Dwayne, one more thing, Dwayne. Hold on. I realize you can't do it today, but we'll make sure you do it next week, especially if LSU loses the game. So how would you introduce yourself to him, and how would you ask the first question?
I ask the first question, how I introduce myself. I say, how you doing, Coach? This is Dwayne such and such from out of New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? I've been an LSU fan way back with Bill Armstrong. When Bill Armstrong was there, with Eric Anderson, Tommy Hobson. I've been back there with Gary James, Dalton Hillier. All them big boys were back there then. Alan Flanagan. You know Alan Flanagan, the left tackle, All-Pro, 6-time All-Pro for Pittsburgh Steelers? Huh? You know about him? Huh? Don't talk that noise about me, you know. But, hey, ask about the offensive line. That's what I want you to do.
Hey, Dwayne, are you going to ask Coach Kelly a question, or are you going to make a speech?
Hey, you ask about the offensive line. I want you doing against that front four. Hey, it just got one dude on that front four for Clemson. It just got one dude on that front four for Clemson. You contain him, you got the game. That's it. Bye.
I am terribly sorry, Dwayne, but you did not qualify to win the job of interviewing him. That was a pretty bad start. We'll take a short break. We mentioned him at the top, and we mention him right now. The head coach of the Tigers is straight ahead. I don't know if that word has reached you yet on the West Coast. I know you go east to west a lot. But beyond that, what are you looking forward to the most about this season that actually does begin next week?
Well, first of all, I got to take issue with you, Paul, because you're really reminding me of the way Beano Cook used to talk about Ron Pallis and he was going to win a couple of Heismans in Notre Dame. You were absolutely setting Arch Manning up for failure at Texas this year by saying the best college quarterback since Tim Tebow. And I'm going, this is stuff message boards never forget. You realize that. You may look like a prophet at the end of this, but I'm a little worried, Paul, both for my football team and for you in particular there. I mean, first of all, I'm excited that we are starting this thing off in week 1 with that kind of bang, Texas versus Ohio State. Like that is the regular season important game we're told doesn't exist anymore. It's the aggressive non-conference scheduling we're told doesn't exist anymore. It may not exist now that the SEC is going to 9 regular season games. I'm excited about that. I'm a little worried about Texas's offensive line. I'm a little worried about their running backs. But to me, this is about as excited as any Texas fan's been since the Mac Brown glory days, such as they were.
Explain Lee Corso to somebody who just landed from Arkansas.
I'll give you 2 thoughts about him that I think are really important to think about right now. One is that the great story about Lee Corso, of course, is he's coaching at Indiana. He has a coach's show, which, Paul, you'll love this. It ran opposite Meet the Press in Indianapolis on Sunday mornings. That's just one of my favorite facts in the world. What a choice for viewers. But, of course, the great story is Indiana's on a losing streak. Corso finds a coffin backstage. It's being used for some children's show at this station. And he pops out of the coffin on his show and he says something like, "We're not dead yet." And when he gets to ESPN and Game Day, he would bring that same kind of local TV aesthetic, that shamelessness, if you will. I mean, think of what ESPN was in 1987 when Corso starts on Game Day. I mean, forget Game Day itself. ESPN was not important. And he was the guy on that show going, hey, we can talk about college football, we can be smart, all that stuff. We have to get attention. We have to do something to get people to watch us every week. So that's number one. And I'd say number 2 with Corso, and I think people forget about this, is that he had a little bit, I understand I'm insulting 2 people with this statement, he had a little bit of Paul Finebaum in him. Like, he was a guy who would light up other coaches. He was that rare ex-coach who goes on TV and isn't just trying to get another job. He's actually willing to criticize members of his brethren.
And we are back here on the first Monday of the season, and as we have done for the last couple of years, we say hello to Coach Brian Kelly down in Baton Rouge, one of the biggest games in recent time, about to head to Clemson. First of all, Coach, thank you for doing this again. We are really appreciative of the opportunity to get insight into you and your football program.
Well, just look, at the end of the day, this show, your show, just is the heartbeat of the SEC. And I'm not just pandering to you, but it's everybody that follows SEC football. So to be on this is to give you the insight in terms of what we're thinking about our football team, and we're pretty excited about our team.
Well, let's get right there because I don't think anybody watching or listening needs to know what's happening Saturday night. So just take us through the preparation and how you feel as you get ready to make that trip.
Well, I think you've heard this, and many of your people that follow college football know that the most important thing for us was to build a defense. We've done enough offense. We had a prolific offense in Jaden Daniels. We scored enough points last year. It was really about retooling our defense and giving Blake Baker the tools necessary for him to be the kind of coordinator that everybody wanted to have in their program. And so we had to continue to recruit, but more importantly, we had to go and look at some veteran players. And I want to underline, Paul, veteran players help you in road games like this. First-year guys that haven't experienced an environment like this, it takes them a while. But we've got a veteran group on defense that will be used to the kind of environment they're stepping into.
Coach, I realize you're now preparing for the game, but when you bring in a number of people and insert them into a system and a culture, what is that like to not only get them involved, but have success on a Saturday night like this one that we're about to watch?
Well, Paul, as you know, this started back after we beat Baylor in the bowl game. We needed to look at our roster in preparation for this opener. Like, what kind of team do you want to put on the field against a team that's won, 10 games or more for the last 13 years? This is a team that's in the hunt every single year. So the first thing we're looking for is guys that would come into our program and fit into our culture, wanted to win a championship. If you just want to improve your draft stock, stay where you're at. If you want to come in and win a championship and bring that experience, then we're looking for you, and then immerse them in the standards that we have set here. Now you got a veteran team working together. They're not in their own cliques doing their own things. It meshes quite well, and now we can see our football team go play and get the goal that they want, and that was to win their opener. So it'll be exciting to watch them play.
Coach, everyone in college football talks about a trip to Tiger Stadium as maybe the most daunting or intimidating thing that a football program can do. But a lot of folks in Clemson actually think it's just the same where you'll be playing Saturday night. You're familiar, you understand. I'm not sure how much these things matter. We hear people talk about it, but how do you prepare a team that's played everywhere, by the way, now going into another place that may be as difficult as your own stadium?
Play in the SEC, Paul. Go on the road in the SEC every week, and you get a taste of this, right? I mean, it doesn't matter where you go in the SEC. I mean, the fan bases are incredible. They're passionate, and here's the thing: they're with their team no matter what's going on. They're not leaving. They're part of it. So wherever you go in this league, you're going to get that. So you're prepared. If you played any games in the SEC, you're preparing yourself for this environment, and then. We've got a number of guys that have been around. Our starting center, Braylon Moore, opened up the season against Clemson last year. So there's a lot of guys that we added to the roster that have been in these kinds of games as well. And that's the best preparation because you're right. It'll be a great atmosphere at Clemson.
Coach, I know everyone in college football panicked for a moment a couple weeks ago when Garrett seemingly was hurt, and I know you addressed it and have continued to address it, but since he is at the epicenter of your program, what can you tell us about his health going into this game?
Oh, he's 100% healthy. And look, it's like anything else. You go through camp, you want to be careful with all of your players, not just your quarterback. And we've been in camp for 3 weeks, and so there's going to be some days that you take off, but he's 100%. He's in a great position. We just awarded him number 18, which is emblematic of a guy that's about team, that's about leading, and we're so excited that he's the leader of our football team. But as you see there, with the Twitter post, not since Matt Mock, who really, this is where it began, 2003, him wearing it and taking the Tigers to a championship. Garrett really wanted this, and it was important to him. He wanted to bring it back to the quarterback position. So we're excited for him, and we're excited for our program.
Coach, just to get off the game for a second, and I've been meaning to ask you, but I haven't seen you since media days, and it just came out, but I go a lot of places, and people are talking about something that has nothing to do with this Saturday, but that's the Netflix special that starts with you, and there's so many lanes other than I really would like to borrow a nice bottle of wine for my next dinner party. But can you talk about the reaction that you've had and your family has had to getting a Prism into your life and who you are?
Well, first, my dad, who was part of it, and he talked about Ole Miss. I told him he's not invited to any more games because he loves Lane Kiffin more than he loves me. And who could, right? But, now he wants a stipend. He thinks he's a star. It's been fun. I mean, look, we said, we're just going to be who we are. And if people like us, that's fine. We really don't care about it. We're just going to open up our program and, I thought it was the right thing to do and let them see that this is who we are on a day-to-day basis. So it was fun to do. It is one that you have to be all in on because they do such a great job. They want to be thorough. But again, I think most of the comments have been, well, I know Coach Kelly. That's what he's like.
And just an observation, I think that's what has made you who you are. You are authentic, and it starts from the beginning, growing up. And did you ever, I mean, yeah, the cameras are there. You can't avoid them. But did you ever alter one single thing because you were being filmed?
Didn't appear that way.
I was sure.
Look, I can't think in those terms, Paul. Like, I can't think like with the cameras on me, let me come up with something witty. I have a hard time pronouncing anyways. First time I got out in front of the team, it sounded like I had a Southern accent. So when you're a Boston guy who's been in the Midwest and you come down to the South, to me, the one thing that's great about being in the South, people are authentic. They are who they are. And I think that's who I am. That's my background. And I'm not liked by a lot of people because of that. But at least at the end of the day, I can walk away and know who I am. And there's no anything else but that's who he is. And you can like him, you can hate him, whatever. I think that's what this series is about.
We appreciate it, and we wish you all the best, and can't wait to talk to you next week in the aftermath of the visit to Clemson. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you.
You bet. Ryan Kelly joining us for his first visit of the season as the Tigers get ready to make the trip to Clemson. We'll get your reaction